Welcome to GotTech's Digital Escape the Room Professional Development video series. This is video number 4, using new Google Sites to determine your layout and how to add images. In this video, we're going to take a look at new Google Sites to host your Digital Escape the Room. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Odyssey example of what it looks like completed, and then I'm going to kind of work backwards and walk you through the process of putting together your Digital Escape the Room. So if you look at this slide, this tells you that there's going to be 3 videos. I decided to break them up into 3 parts. The first one is this video, which is using new Google Sites and how a general layout of a Digital Escape the Room and what that looks like, and how to add images as placeholders for our hyperlinks. Our next video will be going over how to format our lock form, and we'll do that using forms. Don't worry, I already have a template set up, so pretty much all you're going to have to do is just edit that template. And then the last video will be about hyperlinking the clues. After this video series, all we have is publishing our site, and we are done. So we are at the home stretch. Let's just get right into it. First thing we're going to do is we're going to go take a look at the Odyssey, and I will add the link to this in the resource section so you have it. Here's my Odyssey Google site and how I lay it out. Really, in this video, all that we're going to do is worry about the setup in terms of what images we're going to put on this new Google site, and I'll go over how to add these images, but I want to tell you which images you're going to need. First off, there's going to be the title. This is an image with words on it. That way I don't need to type the title in and worry about if they could see the title because of the darkness of the image. I like to do it that way, but if you want, you can just add a title and then add the written text over top of it. That's perfectly fine. So you're going to need a picture for your title. If you put this into Google Drawings, you can actually modify an image and put the title over top of that. Our next section is our lock form and directions. You're going to need an image kind of to serve as a hyperlink holder to our form where your locks are going to be held. I make the introductory story, which is our clue 1, also an image. You could put that in there. Here's the red reveal clue that I used with clue 1, so I made that an image as well. And then we have images for each one of our clues. I try to make the image kind of correspond with the clue type. So if we're doing a clue on the themes of the Odyssey, I have an image that represents that. The events of the Odyssey, that one represents that, and the people within the Odyssey. Once we get to this point where we have all our images put onto the site, all we have to do is hyperlink it and also set up our form, and then we're pretty much ready for publishing our site. So we are in the home stretch. Hang in there, and I'll show you how to kind of format your site now. Alright, let's begin making our new Google site for our Digital Escape the Room. There are a couple of different ways you could get to new Google Sites. You can go up to this button, open it up there, select New Google Sites, or you can just type it into your search bar, which is what I'm going to do. This pops up, New Google Sites. We'll click on it, and it's going to bring us up to the Google Sites page. So I've already been viewing this one, so that's there. What I want to do now is I want to add a new Google site or create a new one using this red plus button, and it's going to bring up our brand new Google Sites page. Okay, so what we need to do first is put a title up here. I'm going to put Odyssey DETR. That's going to be my site name. The next thing I want to do is I want to add a title. So we can pick several different themes. I usually do that at the end, but you could pick whatever theme that you like. I'm just going to stay with the simple theme, and I'm going to change my image for this. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select an image. You can upload an image from your computer, so if you're keeping your organization on your desktop, that's not a problem. You can select your image there. I'm going to select image, and I'm going to go to my Google Drive. I'm going to click on the Odyssey DETR, and I actually put my image for this site in the resource folder. I click on that, and it's going to bring up the Odyssey. Notice that it's adjusting for readability, and here it just still has the place where I could put my title. I'm going to click on that, and I'm just going to delete it. Right, we'll get rid of the title because I do not need it. And right there it is, the Odyssey, and we have everything that we need. I turned off the readability because I want the words to shine through. So that is how we add our title. The next part is to create a spot where we're going to hold our Google form, which is going to hold all our lock combos. So we're going to go back to insert up here, and we're going to insert an image. We're going to have an image that is going to hold our hyperlink to our form. So we're going to go back into our Odyssey, escape the room. We're going to go back into resources, and I've created an image, and I actually even have the lock form there, which I just did a text box into Google Drawings, and that's going to hold that. All right, from there we want a spot where we could put our directions. So what I did is I just clicked on text box, and then what we could do is just drag it up next to it, and we could put directions in there. And what we'll do here is we'll just go ahead and add some directions. Make sure that you play around with the text to get it the size that you want, to get it centered however you want. And once you're done with that, come back to the video and we'll keep setting up some more images. Alright, so I just created 3 simple directions here. As you can see, this directions word is a title, and then what I did is I made all the directions, the actual directions, a heading. So for me, this isn't working out because this image is larger than my text, and rather than to try to play with the format of the text, what I'm going to do is resize the image by clicking on it and scrolling down, and then we can center it onto the page. So now we're done setting up the shell for the directions and the Google Lock form. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to add the images for all your clues into this new Google site. All we're doing is adding the images so they can serve as placeholders for hyperlinks. Remember that you need an image per clue. That's the general rule here because we're going to be adding hyperlinks to them. So I'm going to go up to images and Google Drive because we made that folder. We're going to go to the Odyssey, and I'm going to go to clue 1. And this is where the organizational piece comes in to play. It allows this process to move smoothly. We're going to click on that folder. It's going to bring up all of our images for clue 1. Alright, so there they are. We actually have 2 images for clue 1. One is our intro, the other one is our Trojan horse. So we'll click on our intro, and what I like to do is I like to make this a little bit bigger so they can just read it on the site. And then we'll go up and we'll add our Trojan horse in there as well. That is the place image for the red reveal, which is another layer to the first clue. Alright, so there we go. I've added the images for clue 1. What you guys are going to do is you'll go out and you'll add all your images for all the clues. You'll just go up to image, select the image, and they'll stack on top of each other, and then you can click on them and resize them very easily. If you want to spruce up your site as you go along a little bit, you can come over to the color palette and you can change the background of your site to 3 colors, or you can put an image behind there, whatever you guys want to do. So go ahead and do the remainder of the images, upload them to serve as the hyperlink holders. If you are missing an image, don't panic, just go use the snipping tool, add a new Google drawing to whatever clue that you're missing an image, and just place the image into that folder, and then you'll be able to add it right after you're done doing that. Alright, so I've added all my images, and as you can see, they're kind of stacked up. And I want to reformat these. Just a reminder, you can resize them. Remember, these are just serving as placeholders, so we really don't need to worry about whether or not they're actually readable. They'll get the gist with it. And you can play around with it until you get it exactly how you want it. And it doesn't matter if clue 1, 2, 3, 4 are next to each other. Really, that's no big deal, because they're going to have to work through it, and they'll figure out what clue it is to the lock based on what the answer is or what the code looks like. So I'm just going to make it all the same background here for the clues. That's one way to have the students differentiate between the clues and the form and everything. But now we're ready to just add the hyperlinks to each of the photos to get them on the right track for the clue. And there's a little secret that we have to go over here to make students, force them to make a copy. One other thing that I want to mention, if for some reason you're going to images and it's not recognizing your images that are in a Google drawing as an image, you can always just go to the snipping tool, find that image, and just make a new image there, and then save it to your desktop. And once you have all your images saved, just drag them into your Google subfolders to what clue they belong at, and that will also work around that. I've had a couple people that told me that they were having a problem with this, and that was on a certain type of computer, but that's just a little workaround. So now that we've added all our clues and we have the general setup of our site, it's time to hyperlink them, and that takes us to our next video.